Taliban's war against foreign forces in Afghanistan is becoming bloodier by each passing day. In a recent attack on the forces, the insurgent group launched a suicide bomb blast on Afghanistan's Bagram airbase, where the US president had landed just few weeks back on his surprise arrival to Afghanistan. The attack on the main American base in north of the Afghan capital killed 2 people, while leaving several injured. A report.
Suicide blast in Afghanistan killed 1 person and injured more than 60 in an attack on the United States' main military base of Bagram this week. The early morning assault began when an attacker detonated an explosive-laden vehicle near Bagram military base in Parwan province, north of the capital Kabul. The Taliban claimed responsibility for the attack, and Afghan officials said all the insurgents were killed. Outside the sprawling base, several homes along with a large mosque were destroyed in the attack.
شش صبح چشم دخل بود که انفجار شد بدرم خودم زخمی هستم مادرم زخمی است برادرم زخمی است امیال از مادرم هیچ احوال ندارم.
The twin attack comes as the United States last week resumed talks with the Taliban just a few days after US President Donald Trump's surprise visit to the country. Trump, on his to Afghanistan for the Thanksgiving, announced the resumption of peace talks between the US and the Taliban. Even though Trump said he believes the Taliban want a ceasefire, the recent attack on the US military base says otherwise. This is a clear indication that the Taliban insurgent group and the US are not on the same page as yet on controlling violence in the war-torn nation, the consequences of which are being faced by the innocent civilians of Afghanistan.
ما سر نماز فرض بودم سنت خوانده بودم معیوبان بودم که انفجار شد همین کلکین خانه سر ما افتید باز پای ما یک وقت سل کردم تو نمیفهمیدم دیدیم که ما گفتم ما پرتافتیم سل کردم که خون میاد از علاشیم.
In a separate case, the House Armed Services Committee in Washington opened the door to potential hearings on lessons learned from the war in Afghanistan. The hearing was called following a Washington Post report that Pentagon officials privately told a watchdog for years about their deep concerns about the US war strategy in Afghanistan. The disclosure comes as US President Donald Trump and the Pentagon look to draw down the number of forces in Afghanistan to focus more on battling Al-Qaeda and Islamic State.
Second question I have is regarding the bombshell Washington Post report on the Afghan papers. I imagine you read that. The bottom line is that top military officials and civilian officials have known that the Afghan war has been unwinnable and have been misleading the American public for 20 years. Your predecessor, Secretary Rumsfeld, is quoted there as saying, "I have no visibility into who the bad guys are." Are you embarrassed by Secretary Rumsfeld's comments and the other people quoted, and do you believe they owe the American public an explanation and an apology?
The United States went into Afghanistan in 2001 and ousted its Taliban leaders after they refused to hand over members of the Al-Qaeda militant group behind the September 11 attack on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. About 2,400 US service members have been killed in the Afghan conflict and many thousands more wounded. In order to put an end to this indefinite bloodshed, several rounds of peace talks have been held between the United States and the Taliban, but these talks have not yielded any positive result as yet.